spotlight shines on Kel. She's over there. She should be on stage. She's been on stage many, many times before. How you doing, sweetie?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I forgot to announce this is the What's the Matter podcast show.
Right.
I was just so excited to get things going. I can't.
It's weird. The Podbean app is blinking on my computer. The whole screen is like, flashing.
Special. It says you're on.
Oh, there we go. There it goes. Okay.
Sweet.
It's just taking a minute to
It's
connect.
like giving you. I know. I went to the ATM and it's doing the same thing. Like Wells Fargo. Seriously. Like
really?
Well, yeah. You're just doing this, and then starts these like red things start beeping, and then there's a green one where I put my card, and then when the card goes in, it starts making red. And I'm like, oh, I haven't seen this before.
Weird.
Anyway, so yeah, nobody called me about that change.
Right? Hate that. I can't stand when they don't read me in on shit.
Jeez, man.
Like everybody, they're supposed to tell me everything.
Man, so episode 27, Kel, what's the matter? You know what? With it being on, let's see, Friday, huh? Halloween's on Friday. So what's the matter with Halloween? Episode 27. We're going to be talking about myths, legends, and 21st century boogeymen. And we have a special guest coming in. He's going to be in about half an hour, Mr. Ed Adkins with the Reno Crawl. Of course, just basically Crawl Reno is, he has a bunch of different ones. We'll talk about that stuff. But first and foremost, want to, of course, thank...
Ed Adkins. Oh, I thought it was Alexander. I was getting my Eds mixed up. Right
Adkins.
on.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I haven't seen Ed Adkins in forever.
Yeah.
I love that dude.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Oh, right on. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about the crawl.
So yeah, when he gets in, we'll catch up real quick. And so that being said, actually, because he is going to be late, what we're going to do is when we see him in the studio, we're going to actually go to a buffer commercial and, go welcome him and sit him down and stuff like that. And so I think it's like, probably a couple minutes or something like that. So, but speaking of that, we want to make sure that we thank World Matters is, the DBA, of course, America Matters Media, for sponsoring the show and allowing us to do this in the beautiful Matterhorn studio right here in Reno, Nevada. And of course, created and produced by Big Bongo Productions. And, shout outs to some of our guests for different topics, active life, integrated health, Dr. Tom, when the health matters, throw Darcy and Skin Tuition in there. You still need to make an appointment.
I do. And both with Dr. Tom and Darcy.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, once you do it once, it's going to be hard to stop. And speaking of Ed, get these shout outs out of the way. Ed with Soul is Better. And on America Matters, if you're in the Reno area, 93.7 FM, then they've got some, good shows. And I was just talking to Jay
Biggs.
Jay Davis the other day about her, the GM, about the shows that she's going to be bringing on. But in the meantime, of course, being Blunt with Jay Biggs, as you mentioned.
That's a great show.
Nevada,
and Lady J's show is great too.
Smooth ride home. And there's Nevada Roundup, State Your Case, Military Matters. And they've George and Ricky Harold.
What's the name of Harold's show though? The older gentleman that has that spiritual show. I can't remember the name of it.
I can't remember, but we got Ken Bulls and Bears, and so all that stuff. Get that out of the way, and it's Ed Adkins, yes, with the Reno Zombie Crawl and Crawl Reno. CrawlReno.com if you guys want to check it out, what we're talking about today. But anyway, so let's catch up real quick. So outside of yesterday or this morning? Yesterday? I think yesterday. Yeah, we texted. And so what's been going on this week that you want to divulge and get out there into the world?
No, I've been trying to find something to do. I don't usually do anything for Halloween. I haven't in years and years and years. And I have a bunch of costumes this year.
Really?
Yeah. Well, normally I never worried about it because like anytime a costume party came up, Halloween or otherwise, I'm always a flapper. I have 8 different flapper dresses. I'm obsessed with the 20s.
That's cool.
And I had to have lived a lifetime in the 20s.
Well, that's funny. Yeah, a few segments, episodes ago, we were talking.
Yeah, we talked
kind of
about
came up
that.
in conversation about 100 years before.
Yeah. And then I have a bunch of like fairy wing costumes, a couple butterfly wings, and
where
some
do you
fairy
store
wings.
all this
It's
stuff?
all in my second room closet. I have capes. I have a whole witch outfit, like all kinds of cowboy stuff.
So is Halloween
I could be anything?
your jam for
no,
holidays?
It's really not.
That's what I thought. You were saying you didn't even
but
do
all this,
holidays.
Let me tell you what happened. I'm a professional product reviewer for Amazon. I'm part of their Vine Voices program.
Okay.
And that what that enables me to do is order up to 8 products a day from a special website. It was because Halloween was coming up, all the merchants that are in the Vine program put all their Halloween stuff up last month. And I kept catching it. I'd be like, oh, that would be so great maybe someday and I kept getting them. So I have all these costumes now.
Yeah. Well, that's fun,
but it's fun because I mean, especially here in Reno, we do stuff. We do costume parties at all times of the year, and so there's a lot of opportunities. There, not as much as before. We need to start that again. I'm sick of this COVID fatigue. It's over.
Yeah, man,
we need to have events again. This used to be such an event town.
I heard from someone I was close to that they are like tired of. There was like, speaking of the crawl, right? So they're not even dressed up as zombies. They're like doing Halloween early. And it was just like, WTF, man, just like that's lame. You go down there, say dressed as a Power Pack Ranger or whatever, Power Ranger or whatever, instead of a zombie.
Well,
that's not cool.
No, it's not. It's not that's the zombie crawl. The zombie crawl is a zombie crawl. Halloween crawl is something different.
Yeah, I mean, you're
and then Santa crawl.
You're trying to get a twofer.
Right. Actually, it's a threefer because if they do it for zombie crawl, then they do it for Halloween, and then they do it for Santa crawl, where they do the thriller dance.
Yeah,
they're getting a triple.
I'm just saying, I'm disappointed in people that would do something like that.
You need to keep the integrity of the theme.
Kind of like a double-edged sword, right? It's just like, I don't want to dress up like a zombie, but I'll go to the zombie crawl and still give businesses money, but I'm not dressing up like a zombie. I'm kind of torn on that now that I think about it.
Yeah. I mean, at least people are participating.
Yeah.
I'm glad if it's too much to.
Yeah. And by not doing the zombie thing, though, just think about how many makeup artists you're putting out of work.
Or Spirit Halloween store.
It's like their 1 year jam. You know what I mean? The ones that don't have movie gigs,
right?
Or work on The View. So let's talk about some, like, it is Halloween. So I put some things together. And again, if people don't know, Kel, we used to, when we started this show, I'd get her these notes, and then I was kind of like being anal about sticking with the outline and stuff. And so we decided that we're not going to let her know anything. We're just going to kind of riff off of my notes and stuff like that. But she has no idea what I'm going to be bringing up on any given show, except for a general topic, maybe. Anyway, so some of this classic stuff, and then are you again like you speak of like sometimes being like a little Wickish, yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh yeah.
Stuff, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. And because it's not what people think.
Yeah.
We Hollywood has completely
stigmatized,
inverted, screwed up.
Hey, you're not being burned at the stake?
Oh no.
That's progress.
Not literally. We are still being burned at the stake, just not literally.
Skewered.
Yeah.
You're being skewered.
But
my stepdaughter was Wiccan. I think she's still.
I don't follow I'm not Wiccan or pagan or any. I don't follow any religious doctrine.
I don't like labels
kind.
either.
But
it's just like
witchcraft, the practice of being a witch, witches were the medicine people of the community.
Yeah.
They knew how to make take all the herbs and make the tinctures, and they
you're talking about people. You're talking about witch doctors?
No, witches, actual witches in Salem.
Well, define a witch, I guess. What's that?
It's just a term for a nature-loving.
Like, how do you want to identify?
Expert. Basically,
what's the witch you want to identify with?
It's gotten a bad rap because of spells and all that silly stuff we see in voodoo in Hollywood, and voodoo is a different type of spiritual spell casting. But witches were, they were the they cared for people in the town. Like they were the. They weren't doctors literally, but this was way before we had those kind of structures. And they were the ones that knew nature. They knew what combinations of herbs.
Like your shamans.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's been given a bad name, so. But what kind of a witchy poo are you then?
I'm into the natural, natural remedies, natural supplements, things like, being able to use what nature has given us, which is designed. I mean, we're designed for all that to work together.
So what's the difference
and get out of the medical industrial complex?
What you do and versus what Dr. Tom does? These like homeopathic, approaches and stuff.
He is. This is even more organic
are you more
than
spiritual?
that.
You're more of on the spiritual
there's a bit of a
realm?
spiritual bent to it, but it's really more about knowing, like what berries are poison and what foraging, being able to forage, being able to, and knowing what will heal and what will hurt.
You could get down with that. Like on a Survivor show, you'd be an asset.
Yeah, definitely.
So check this out. So let's talk about folklore though, related to Halloween, right? So one of the traditions, right, is carving pumpkins.
Yes.
Right? Do you like doing that?
No. I think the whole
They're messy, right?
I think
have you ever done it? Like, you've been to the pumpkin patch?
Oh God, yeah. Well, I used to live near farms.
Have you ever kissed a boy in a pumpkin patch?
No.
Have you ever kissed a boy in a pasture?
No.
Dang, you've kissed boys though.
Yeah.
Have you ever kissed a girl?
No. I wish I was gay. I swear to God. I wish I liked women.
Yeah.
I don't. I've never been, and I had like I'm very monogamous. Like even when I have best friends, when I was growing up, I had one like super tight best friend.
Yeah.
And when we broke up, it was like a breakup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there was never anything sexual or romantic to it.
Yeah.
But the emotion, the emotional tie.
Beautiful platonic relationship.
Oh,
yeah.
And
man, I don't know though. I don't know if I could do that.
What?
That would just be so weird, to me. There's just no.
Kiss a guy. Like, yeah. Oh, and I think it's different with guys.
And then what if somebody says, like, what if, like, I paid you $100,000?
Oh, well, of course.
Just like.
To do it once, whatever. It doesn't mean anything.
I'd be like, dude, you want to split it? You want to split it?
Right. Right. Oh, absolutely. There's nothing to it.
We agree, right? It's in our contract. But, anyway.
The traditional Halloween thing, I think, is very strange.
So, the reason that I bring up this, I love you so much. We go on these tangents. It's great. So I bring this up because the pumpkin carving thing, of course, and you've never done that? It's fascinating.
I have absolutely have. Long time ago. I haven't done it in years.
So you know how messy it is.
Oh, God, yeah.
I don't really like doing it. You get to a certain point, you're just like, okay, kids, this is how you do it. And
have at it. I'll come clean you up and take a bath later.
But so
we would do it outside. My mom would put me in a white T-shirt, send me out to the front porch, stuff the guts under the bushes. We had bushes out front that were huge pine bushes that hid everything, So we'd just stuff it under there as compost and
interesting
and stick them out front.
So do you know how the carving the pumpkin tradition started though?
No.
Yeah. So that's what I brought this whole thing up for. So it's something to do with this Irish immigrants. It seems like it's fascinating. We visited some things about the topic was civil disobedience with people boycotting. Remember?
Yes.
And that was an Irish story.
Yes.
And so same type of thing. So this trickster named Jack, and this is of course a story. So a trickster named Jack bargains with the devil, and he's barred from heaven and hell.
Yeah.
And he roams with a coal and a carved turnip. So the Irish immigrants brought the carving tradition, and pumpkins simply replaced turnips in America. That's it. That's how we started carving pumpkins, from this guy over in Ireland, from the story that, this guy Jack bargained with the devil and he had to roam around with a piece of coal and a carved turnip.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
and we don't like turnips. Nobody eats turnips here.
Exactly. Well, that's true. And then of course pumpkin pie and all that stuff, came from that.
Love pumpkin pie. I would get so excited every year.
What's interesting is how something like that stuck, because a long time ago, right?
It is.
And it became this little ritual with parents and kids they can do together to play for way. But it was supposed to, again, back in the day, ward off darkness while owning it. And if you think about that whole context right there, and then when you think about having the pumpkins outside on your porch.
Oh yeah, that's what we were always told. It was to ward off bad spirits.
Really?
Yeah.
They didn't tell anything.
Yeah, that's what we were told. That it was. Yeah. It kept the demons, the Halloween demons away.
Stay away from here.
Yeah. Same thing with scarecrows.
Now, what do you know about? Remember the legend of Sleepy Hollow, Headless Horseman?
Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman.
Yeah. So what was that story?
I've been to Tarrytown, New York.
What is the significance of that? What's Tarrytown?
That's where it takes place.
That's where it happened. Okay.
And I've been to Salem too. And yeah, I used to love the Headless Horseman story.
It says something about here about it was a special rider. He was a Hessian soldier.
Hessian soldier. Yeah.
Hessian. That's how you say that. Hessian. What is that?
It was a European region.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Okay. And so Tarrytown obviously is over there in Europe.
No, it's in New York.
It's in New York.
The story takes place in New York. Yeah.
What? And so a European soldier is in New York, and that's what is that, seeking his lost head. So what, did he lose his head in battle or something?
Oh, no, I'm wrong. I'm incorrect.
What happened?
Hessian is a coarse fabric made from hemp or jute used for sacks.
Well, first, really?
German. They're German.
Whoa.
Hessians were Germans, but I
Okay.
thought it was a region that they were called, like that was an area.
Man, but
yeah, it is. Hesse Castle.
Hesse Castle.
Yeah, HESSE-CASSEL.
Okay.
German state.
Awesome.
And Hesse-Hanau. Got it.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, German. That's right. I haven't heard the Headless Horseman story in literal decades.
But I just wonder, like, when things happen, right? And then, of course, the whole fish story thing gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
But a lot of times there's a little bit of truth or a little splinter of truth that's in something like that. But it's fascinating because this tale of the Headless Horseman kind of blends war trauma, with a little bit of small town superstition.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what, the Headless Horseman, you put a silhouette of that, and it's instantly people know what that is, right? Somebody on a horse, hand up in the air with the pumpkin. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what that is.
Yes, you do. That image,
And,
yes.
And what do you think as we get into some of this stuff? Well, let's kind of think about what scares, what's kind of scary, to people. And so you got this small town superstition. What do you think about the terror of a faceless pursuer?
Nah.
No?
Nah.
No?
That wouldn't just be like, that's kind of weird. It wouldn't scare me though.
Well, especially after COVID.
Yeah.
Now, okay, here's another one. So Bram Stoker's 1897 novel fuses Eastern European vampire lore with a suave aristocrat. So these, kind of, do you remember Vlad the Impale? Yeah.
That's right. That's what the story's based on.
Yeah. So anyway, loosely echoed Stoker's villain, right? And why it sticks, kind of, I think it, like the Dracula, the whole thing. And you remember, what was that one, that Dark Shadows?
I never watched it. Yeah, that was before my time.
I think it may have been on for like 2 or 3 years back when like in earliest memories type of stuff. But there's kind of like this, kind of seductive type of thing about, vampires, right? I want to suck your blood.
Right. Yeah, there's a whole thing. I mean, well, of course, back then it turned into a thing for a while. It was a whole program. There was, the what was her name? Anne Rice.
Oh yeah.
Interview with the Vampire series.
Yeah.
Kicked off that whole thing. Somebody, and those had been out for years.
Yeah.
And somehow it went viral. Like somebody caught onto it, and it turned into a viral thing. Well, it's kind of
like, if you think about it too, just like, okay, what kind of, when you think about monsters, like before that, right? And so like Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, right? And so, but this was like the first time that you would kind of have a monster that could talk. Right? Could talk, and communicate. And so, anyway, kind of a different thing as far as the storyline sometimes reflects our moral conflicts, some of these things that are done with lots of vampire movies, right?
Oh, sure. And that's highly representative in society. Energy vampirism.
So have you ever heard of Samhain?
It's actually pronounced Samhain.
Samhain?
So it's pronounced like Sowwen. Samhain.
Samhain. Okay, so obviously you have heard.
Oh, of course.
Then,
It's Irish, and
Celtic.
Yeah,
and
Celtic.
Harvest Festival. Yeah,
and it got co-opted here in the heavy metal movement by Glenn Danzig, who called it Samhain, and so everybody thinks it's pronounced Samhain, but it's really not. Samhain.
Interesting. I would have never would have gotten that. Thank you, Kel. I love it.
I'm a font of useless information.
I love it when I learn things. Let's see. So something about the veil with that, right? Says, let's see.
I don't know.
Celtic end of Harvest
it.
Festival marking liminal time when the boundary to the spirit world thins.
Yeah.
And later braided into All Hallows traditions. So that's why this is in here. And so, they're saying, why it sticks is that we ritualize change. And the veil is thin stories give meaning to these seasonal shifts and grief, letting communities honor ancestors' timeless portable. So they're obviously talking about death and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
and sure, with the harvest,
then they make us, of course, the message, there's a season, for all things, change.
Oh, absolutely. So much. I mean, like so much of history and metaphor that we have that people don't even think of is all it is about the seasons.
Yeah.
And the changing of the
well, and it of course kicks into our holidays, for Halloween, Thanksgiving, bam, we talked about, of course, that's a commercial, type of thing to stimulate the economy, but they're still fun. They come out, they're still fun. Holidays are an interesting trip, though.
They're very, it's a very interesting program. I've always thought
there's a lot of
Halloween,
people that for a lot of different reasons, they're a tough time.
Oh, of course. Well, and that's part of it. That's a whole nother hook. It's holidays and I'm missing. What the fuck?
Well, I mean, it's like, let's say like if it was a, big tradition, you have all these childhood memories and stuff like that. And then, once somebody passed away, then nobody ever got together again.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I thought you meant just because it was, X.
Or I can imagine.
No, that makes sense.
I can only imagine being married to somebody for like a long time, 50 years and stuff.
God. Well, yeah, if you ritually celebrate those holidays, sure, they could be hooks.
But for most people, I think of outside of the, kind of financial drain that these holidays, do, kind of, because you feel, kind of obligated, of course, to buy presents.
Oh, it's an emotional induction. I mean, the whole thing is, to me, it's just a big hook.
You don't want that reputation,
No, but like Halloween. Well, think about Halloween. I mean, what weirdness is it, and potentially dangerous to have people dress up in costumes, obscuring their identity, going to neighbors asking for free candy?
Spoiler alert.
What is that?
We're going to talk about all that stuff.
It's so
Have you seen my notes today?
No.
Did you? Are you sure?
No.
Okay.
We're just on the same page. But
hey,
no, that's like, I've always thought, even as a kid, I was like, this is the weirdest thing.
What about, let's see, let's go into some little myths and, kind of go versus facts. So what do you think about black cats? Talk about stigmas, right? Black cats, I can admit, that seed was planted. And so there's a lot of my life where I would, a black cat goes across. I'm like, okay, I'm turning around. As silly as that sounds. I don't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore.
Oh, so dumb. It's so dumb.
I do try to hit him, though. No, I'm just kidding.
You better not.
I'm kidding. I'm a kidder. No, I'm not. No, I'm just kidding. So black cats and witches.
That's so dumb. That is so dumb.
No evidence. There's no evidence of inherent bad luck.
None.
None. As a matter of fact, this is kind of cool. Because of that, you'll like this because of the bad stigma. That there are a lot of modern shelters that are taking precautions around Halloween due to just human dumbass superstition, right? So
I can imagine.
Just like, come on, kitty, let's have a kitty drive. Let's have a black cat drive.
Black cat drive. That would be cute. That would be. Black cats are cute.
There's, like it would almost be like if you were goth, you would have to have a
you'd have to have a black cat,
right?
My little Chris, I had a little kitten named Chrissy who was black.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, like, what do you think about kind of like you think that every Halloween there's like a full moon, right? But that's just.
Oh yeah, no, that's not true.
It hardly ever happens,
very rarely.
Right?
Isn't that funny?
Astronomically, it's rare.
For as ubiquitous as the symbol is, in imagery.
No, it's happened. I know it has happened.
Sure.
In our lifetime, but very, very rarely. So let's see. What about? Let's do this. There it is. Let's do the life coach lightning round real quick before Ed gets in here. Tell everybody, take about 30 seconds. So your favorite, I know you don't do it, but like, what's your favorite childhood, like spooky ritual and why you still love it?
Oh, gosh. I used to haunted houses. I used to love haunted houses. I knew Phil Anselmo. Phil Anselmo from the lead singer of Pantera was a friend of mine. He got in trouble at a concert in New York. He hit a security guard over the head with a mic and injured him, and he sued and got in trouble. I mean, it was a criminal prosecution, and for community service, he had to do something for community service. So what he did was he and some filmmaker friends of his put this entire haunted house together in New Orleans. and then staffed it. He was in it. His friends were in it, like, as characters and stuff. And we used to go every year. It was called House of Shock. I believe it still exists. Phil doesn't have anything to do with it anymore.
Charge ticket prices.
Yeah, right. And then all the money went to charity.
I love it.
Every bit of the money.
Now, what's one boundary that keeps like a fun scary from being like becoming a real scary? Like, what's a boundary that you have? Yeah, because we'll try to get into some good strategies for people out there to make sure that they stay safe. So what's boundary if you're going to a Halloween party or downtown or something that's you want to have a fun, scary night, but what's a boundary that you have to make sure that nothing becomes real scary?
Don't ever walk away from my drink.
Oh, good one. That's a good one. Yeah. That's a Bill Cosby rule right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what about if you're in a group, like say a group of 4 or more? What's the best group safety habit on a big night out?
I think keeping each other, at least
in eyesight.
At least 2 of you keeping each other in view at all times.
Never be alone.
Knowing where everybody's at. Hey, I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. And then, is there any can you think of any tradition that you would start to be a pioneer? To kind of be under a category of like a smarter Halloween, where everybody has a good time, but they're safe.
I haven't thought about it in a long time because I don't deal with kids anymore.
Right.
But I used to think about this a lot when my mom was teaching and with her kids, because they were visually, they had visual impairment, so it was a big deal, for them to be able to, the ones who did have some sight, to have big bright costumes that they could see. And
but at night, well, if they're blind, man, just put some glow in the dark stuff on them.
Yeah, but just make sure they that they had people with them at all times and stuff like that. But what would I start? I don't. I think the whole thing is just a bad idea. So I would do something that doesn't have to do with candy. That the whole sugar induction thing is really bad. It's so bad.
Yeah.
And especially for kids, and I don't want to be an old fuddy-duddy or anything, but there's got to be a better trend nutritionally somehow, something better than just shitloads of candy.
Yeah.
That they can get anytime anyway. It should be something special. Like I used to love it when I get like the popcorn balls or, and
what about caramel corn? That's still candy.
I don't no.
That's like Cracker Jacks. That's too much. It's like you're trying to stay away from sugar. Or how about natural sugar?
Or erythritol,
but it's not really
candy.
How can you do that?
Well, there's still sweeteners. I mean, you can use non-sugar sweeteners, but even still, it's there's, I mean, I don't know what you'd replace it with, because I mean, in our day, they even you couldn't even get fruit because there'd be a razor blade in it. Remember that?
I have this.
The razor blade in the apple.
We're going to be talking about stuff like that with Ed.
I don't know. That's funny. That crossed my mind the other day, and I thought, did that ever even really happen?
We're going to talk about that with Ed.
Good. Good. That's funny. That's funny.
That is really cool.
How quintessential all this stuff is really, that we've had such a similar experience, especially as Gen Xers. Remember those terrible costumes with the plastic mask with the rubber band around your head that the Wonder Woman or whatever, and they had those little eye holes and little nose. They were terrible.
Oh yeah.
They were
Everyone wanted one though. What was your do you remember your first Halloween costume?
I do. It was my mother. I was a baby and my mother had me in a little pumpkin outfit. It was cute. It was a cute little onesie, a pumpkin onesie.
I'm trying to remember.
God, I don't even have those pictures anymore.
I think the earliest one I was like Barney Rubble.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, because I had like a little, like when I was really young, it was a little blonde hair that went away, obviously. Barney Rubble.
I can see that. You pull that off well.
Back then. What's the best Halloween party you've ever been to?
Oh, wow. God, I haven't been to a Halloween party in a long time either.
See, there's only a limited amount. There's got to be a best of. Well, that's assuming that you had a good time.
Yeah, because I mean, back in my metal days, Halloween was a big deal, and so I did. I used to go to a lot of different parties, and I'm trying to think.
Halloween party one time, and I would have been there about half an hour or so, and then found out that everybody there, except for me, was on mushrooms.
Oh, how come they didn't reach in?
Well, they tried to. Once they found out, they offered me some.
Oh, okay.
But I had a busy night. I
I
couldn't
bet.
I couldn't be partaking, you know? You
Yeah,
should have warned me in advance.
that's
That's the
funny.
kind of thing that takes planning.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It really
Yeah.
does. I mean, I
That's probably not a
I
good
don't get
idea.
any effect from it. It bums me out because I've done as much as 5 grams and got
Uh-huh.
0 effect.
Oh, what?
0 effect. Nothing.
Oh my
The
gosh.
walls waved a little bit.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That
And it makes
is.
me mad.
Yeah.
And because I really wanna have this
Well,
experience.
I bet, yeah,
I need to try it.
it's like anything else, right? There's probably, just people that know what they're doing as far as producing it and people that, are maybe trying,
Yeah,
maybe,
and
or
some of
maybe
it
some of it gets old. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I
Maybe
don't
some
know,
of it
but
loses.
I think what it is, I think it has something to do with what they did to me with MK Ultra Monarch. I think they burned my brain back then where I don't react to a lot of this stuff
Interesting.
because they were testing it on me, and it's the only thing I can come up with. I mean, DMT has very minimal effect.
Yeah.
I don't get high from narcotics. I was on 60 milligrams of hydrocodone a
Uh-huh.
day, and all it would do was take me from 10 to 5 in pain.
Wow.
I got no people would talk about this euphoric effect, and I'm like, what is the big deal with
Yeah, what are you
drugs?
talking
Like,
about? Yeah.
what is it? And so
I don't know. It gets more, I don't know, just unnerving. I definitely don't want to be, jumping off a ledge
mm-mm.
anymore, as much as you did when you were young.
I
Like
think
this
I
unknown.
would never have tried it as a
Yeah.
kid. Like I was so dead set against any and all drugs back then.
Right.
Then once I started smoking cannabis at 27, I started to open my mind to not to trying it. I had no interest in trying any of it, but at least I could see, I could understand why people would want certain effects. Up to that point, I just couldn't understand why anybody would want to feel like they were racing or
Yeah.
whatever. And the effects people talk about, I thought, God, that doesn't even sound good. But now that I understand it a lot better.
I remember, man, just like the catch a buzz, that
Mhm.
phrase,
Mhm.
everybody knows it. You hear drunk.
Yeah, drunk alcohol.
He's drunk, he's
Yeah,
drunk. But,
he's buzzed.
catching a buzz,
Yeah,
that's kind of like, your early.
pre-drunk. Yeah,
Yeah. Now, when did you catch your first buzz?
3 years old. This
No,
is that
no,
serious.
yeah, yeah. And I don't want to hear
For
that
real,
one.
real.
Yeah.
Uh,
You're kind of conscious. Like, when did you
When consciously start drinking,
yes,
woods
catch your
parties.
first buzz?
Well, no, that's not true at all. I see. It's always just. It was never a big deal. So it's always
Mhm.
just sort of been part of my life. Like I would have a glass of wine with my parents or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it was just. It was not a no big thing.
Yeah.
So I never I've never been a big drinker. I don't like it all that much.
Yeah.
And I so trying to think when I caught my first intentional buzz. And it would have
Think
been
about, like,
13, 14,
I started
12,
saying,
13,
I think
14,
I was like 15 or
10,
something like that.
somewhere around then probably.
Well, we have some good news, Mr. Ed. We have a Mr. Ed Adkins sighting. So while I'm gonna drop you guys off here with a little commercial, we're gonna welcome him into the studio, and we will be right back.
Courtroom wisdom to cowboy justice, from bull markets to blunt opinions, this is Kel, and you're listening to The Voices That Matter, powered by World Matters Incorporated on 93.7 FM and Big Bongo Productions on the Podbean app. Catch America Matters weekdays at noon with Eddie Floyd and Leo Zaki mixing patriotism with policy. Join Military Matters with Ricky Harold and George Fleck Tuesdays at 11 and Thursdays at 4 for Boots on the Ground veteran talk. Ride into the American Roundup Fridays at 2 with Shanimal Lawson, where freedom, family, and wild horses still run free. Need stock tips? Tune into Ken's Bulls and Bears Tuesdays at 10 with Ken Roberts. Need legal tips? State Your Case Mondays at 1 with Rick Cornell and Todd Torvinen. No retainer required. Need Zero Filter? Being Blunt with Jay Biggs Monday to Saturday at 9 a.m. Yeah, we warned you. Need a musical escape? Glide into Smooth Ride Home with Lady J. Crank It with the Rockin' Rev Saturdays 4 to 6. Or hit rewind with Classic Country Cafe anytime we cue it up. And don't miss the What's the Matter podcast with me and the G-Man, live streaming on the Podbean app every Wednesday at 4, and then turned into encore episodes on 93.7 FM. We laugh, think, argue, and maybe even agree on everything from culture, contemporary issues, history, to conspiracy snacks. No matter your mood, if it matters, we're talking about it. Only on World Matters Radio and Big Bongo Productions, where every show has a voice and every voice matters.
All right, all right, all right. Hey, we have Mr. Ed Adkins in his seat. What's going on, Ed?
Hey, it is great to be back. It's been a while since I've talked to you guys.
It has been a minute, and you know, actually, that's a good segue because I was waiting for you to get into studio, but this is actually going to be our, I guess, our kind of flagship in honor of Mr. Oliver X. And so we're going to be, this is kind of like the first segment that we've ever done, especially for local events. And we're naming it X Marks the Spot.
Awesome.
And what we mean by that is that this is where you have to go. This is what you have to do. This is the place to be, you know, any particular weekend or whatever. And we'll start with Reno, you know, and work our way out, you know, with the X Marks the Spot, you know, type of thing, hopefully as the show grows.
Yeah.
You know,
great.
but yeah, Ed and I were lamenting that the last time that we saw each other, I think was when I was in here co-hosting with Oliver, and we were talking about one of the crawls.
What a great guy. What a, just a, you know, huge supporter of events in Reno. So many things, you know, he facilitated so many things, and he was such a bridge between people, just massive supporter. So it's great that you're honoring him.
Difference maker. And of course, after his unfortunate passing late in summer of 2023, the city seems to have had understood its loss.
Yeah.
I mean, the outpouring of support. And
yeah, really, you know, there's never going to be another guy like Oliver. And I appreciate that. Like, he really made a mark, and it's gonna continue for years and years. You know, I remember a bunch of us used to meet at a coffee shop. I'm saying like maybe 2007, 8, right when he, you know, first came to town, and we'd all sit around dreaming about things we wanted to do, and all of us ended up making things happen. And in fact, you know, it's really cool kind of looking at that. Is we'd meet in this coffee shop, we'd get work done, and then we just dream about like what are cool things we could do in town.
And and Oliver helped, of course, mold and get those things happen.
Yeah, in fact, today, Frank Tag Haxton, who used to take the photos for Reno Tahoe Tonight, Oliver's magazine, he posted this really great picture of it was when me and my daughter Paige were on the cover of Reno Tahoe Tonight. We're talking, had to have been well over 10 years ago. And that picture means so much to both of us, but me and my daughter Paige, the two of us dressed like zombies, and it was kind of, I think it was probably 2013. So what is that, 12 years ago? Yeah, it's such a special keepsake for me, like the framed picture of that. And then just what a great memory for us. I really appreciate that, you know, that we got a chance to do that. So yeah, it's that magazine was great.
It was. Yeah,
it really was. I had fun writing for it.
And of course, from the magazine that spawned the you know, the radio show, you know, that he did, and that's how we met. You don't look like you've aged at all. You know,
honestly,
you're doing good.
Honestly,
was it
feel
like,
it?
You know, eggs? What are you eating? Eggs? You know, good protein? I don't know. But anyway, so we'll of course get you kind of like what happened, but we've just been BSing about Halloween, and of course it's coming up here, and talking about, you know, some myths, and we'll be talking about, you know, just legends and some fun stuff. So
favorite holiday.
Yeah, back into it. One of the things, did you guys do this as a kid? I think, just think about that. Like, what was the movie Candyman? Was it Candyman? Where you said that in the movie or the mirror 3 times? Candyman.
Yes.
Kinda. But that actually, I guess that's what it's called, Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
You should know about
that.
They
were mixing
right?
a bunch of folklore when they made that movie.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they were. I saw that in the theater with my dad. I remember it.
It's been apparently around a long time, a very long time. What about the Lover's Lane
hook on the
Yeah.
What's that scratch?
How old were you when you heard that? I think I was about 8.
Yeah, I definitely.
Like that.
Yeah, remember the book Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? Freaky little illustrations on that book. I loved those. They really inspired me. But they were weird.
Yeah. Now Kel has her mixed reviews with Halloween. She, you know,
I have weird feelings about it.
Yeah, she's in and out. You know, for
like
different
for
reasons,
adults and dressing up and partying and stuff like that. I think it's great. I think it's a very strange tradition for kids. To disguise your identity and walk around asking for free candy from your neighbors.
Why is it the one holiday?
That's so weird.
I wonder, why is it the one holiday that is actually emboldening and okay? I'm not complaining, you know, but for our lady friends to kind of dress a little bit slutty, skanky, You know,
Huge.
No, I appreciate, anytime society can kind of unclench a bit and have some fun.
Clench a bit. I like
I
that.
like that too. I like that a lot.
Hilarious.
You mean from their pearls, right? Stop clutching their pearls.
But I think also, like, I hear that is kind of a weird concept if you think we're disguising our identity and we're going on asking for stuff. But it's also like,
I'm overthinking it.
It's the closest thing we have to like a feast day in American culture as far as the U.S. It's like where you do get to meet a few of your neighbors, because we don't do a whole lot of that.
You see, and growing up, I had that village Hillary talked about growing up. So we did know all our I mean, we hung out and we, so
it's kind of like us too.
Now that you say that, with the way things are today, that makes a little more. Makes it a little more palatable.
And also so as far as the crawls go, like one thing, so we create a night that's like a fake holiday, kind of. Right. And a lot of the stuff that keeps people home, I think, or like, they go out and they kind of feel like the night was wasted, would be if they go out and no one's there, right. Or again, if they go out and people are there, but they don't feel like they've met anybody or they've connected to the community. And so I think what we do, and I think Halloween, obviously inspired the whole thing, but when you say, hey, look, this night we're all going to go out. So that takes care of the whole, well, is anyone there? Like, that's the first thing you text your friend who showed up first is like, hey, is anybody really there? Because, you don't want to go to an empty place. There's nothing going on. You feel like everyone, anyone who is in there is watching you or whatever. But if a place is packed, I don't feel bad about dancing, like all weird, because I can't dance well. I don't feel there's a sense of anonymity. And then there's an extra sense of it if you're wearing a costume.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. That's a good point. But again, like for adults, I think it's great. I think it's fun, get dressed up.
The other thing with the costume thing too is that you instantly feel part of the gang. You're dressed like a penguin, you walk into a place where 100 people are dressed like a penguin.
Sure.
All of a sudden, you're part of the penguin.
Or just that everybody else is also just dressed up. You feel that cohesion. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's like a easy way to create that, or not, it's been kind of difficult. It wasn't easy to make, but I just think it's kind of a guaranteed.
Yeah. No, that's a point. That's a great point.
There's going to be a lot going on. And
to go to the bar, I mean, like, do I really want to go to the bar? What if nobody's there? What if, so this ensures that everybody's going to be there.
Yeah. And I feel like Halloween is that version of that for kids. And then, the bar crawls are that version for adults.
That's a good point.
When we started the zombie crawl, Halloween wasn't really recognized as an adult.
Oh, really?
Part. It was pretty much just for kids. And right then we just lucked out that that 2008, period, it made that switch. And so like when we first started, the bars were like, man, do you have, this is great. Like having a party on Halloween.
Yeah, when cell phones came along, it was a lot easier to communicate mobilely, obviously.
Oh, that as well, yeah. Twitter was a huge part of us, like the events that we started, because at that point, it had probably been around for about a year. And the only people who knew about it were people who had sought it out and were kind of getting into it, like nerding out about it, right? But it was the first, I don't think even Facebook had that feel where it's like you connected to some people locally who you didn't quite know, but you kind of knew them on the internet. And you could say like, hey, I'm checking out this new bar, and half a dozen people would show up. It filled that gap that like being by yourself, there was no one to listen to your funny things you had to say, and there was no one to like really talk to in the way that we have now. I mean, I think there's a lot of that, but at the beginning of it, it was exciting. It was novel. It was kind of like, and so a lot of people who wouldn't have known each other started to meet each other. And so a big part of the explosion of the crawls the first year, or at least the zombie crawl, I just started a Twitter account and I put up a bunch of posters, and that combination of those two things, we got a few hundred people out. And
and the rest is history.
And the rest is absolute Reno history.
And I apologize for, of course, not mentioning this more up front, but of course, everybody, if you want to, our listening audience, who knows, where this is going to go. So crawlreno.com is where you want to go. You just got through doing the zombie crawl. Yeah. And one question that I have for you, I was alluded to it with Kel, is as I was driving around, later at night, I kind of am feeling like the old man, get off my lawn, because I noticed that people were cheating, hedging, whatever you want to call it, and they weren't dressing up as on a zombie crawl.
You didn't see a lot of like people dressed up?
Well, I did, but maybe it was later or downtown.
They were dressing as other things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, like what's up with that? Cheating.
I was mistaken,
it's cheating.
Because I thought there was an actual Halloween crawl too, but zombie crawl is the Halloween crawl.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't do that. If I was going to go to the event, I would do the thing and go ahead and be a zombie. But what I was saying is that on the other side, on the other side though, if somebody said, "Now I want to dress up at this," I'll go if I could dress at this. I got my Halloween costume, so you don't want to take away from the local business.
We're like, I think this year was the 17th year that we've done it. That's just
wow,
right?
But 17 years, it's like, I mean, I've dressed like a zombie every time, but I just feel like I like the buck the system, be an anarchist, dress like a chicken instead.
So you're okay with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to make it a zombie chicken, sure.
I'll drop it.
There you go. There you go. You can use your costume, but make it a zombie version.
Or just, do whatever. It's cool that so many people.
It's a dress up.
I can't believe so many people come out. And I love, I think that it's a bummer if you come out and you don't dress up, you know? Now, if you didn't know it was happening, you just kind of showed up. Sure, great.
Could you imagine somebody who doesn't know about this, somebody new to town, say,
you guys
doesn't know about crawls?
You guys keep hitting on this.
Goes out on.
Yeah, it would be weird to not know. But the first year we did it, we actually had makeup artists come with us because I was like, nobody knew we were doing it, or at least outside of the 300
so
people
they could do it on site.
And so basically we were like, for anybody who shows up, you guys will zombify them. And we did. There were several people who ended up, we just kind of absorbed them into the group. And we
are
gave them
so creative.
I love it.
Honest to God. I mean, you must be like literally one of the world's best event managers.
I just like doing stuff.
Yeah.
But seriously,
I like getting a lot of people together and make something happen. And it's always been something I've liked.
The other beauty about it is you're still you. You're still the same old Ed. I haven't seen you in years. You are the same Ed Adkins I've always known. No corporate, no, because this could very easily be corporatized.
I don't have a choice.
And
I don't think I could be anything else.
No, I love it. I love it. 17 years and you've been able to maintain that integrity.
Yeah.
Wow. Think about that, Ed. That's huge.
Now, besides the zombie crawl,
thank you.
What are the other events, real quick, for the listening audience?
Yeah, currently, we've done a lot of different.
You got
themes
Mardi
over
Gras.
the years.
Did I see on the website?
We need a Mardi Gras because they got rid of the Mardi Gras party. Remember the big community every year, and they stopped. They
stopped
not
doing
Mardi
Gras. It's Margarita Day.
But we need a Mardi Gras. That would be.
Oh yeah, over the years we've done a Mardi Gras one. Because there's themes that kind of come and go for us, or come and go as far as popularity, and when we did our Mardi Gras
test
one,
models you do.
Yeah, we'll do something for a little while, and if the popularity fades, we'll give it a break. I actually want to bring back. I've got some plans to bring back all of the old things we've ever stopped doing as parties.
Oh, fun!
Like the one venue, and we've kind of pulled the crawlers, and they say, "Oh, that sounds great." But when we did the Mardi Gras one, we would do a parade. We'd have like a brass band, stilt walkers,
like the whole
thing.
No,
we tried to recreate the making the flowers. We kind of researched as much as we could,
coins and stuff.
Yeah. We got in trouble for throwing beads off of the roof of some bars.
I think I remember that.
Oh boy, I remember. I got a talking to. There's one thing to throw the beads, but then somebody popped champagne and was spraying it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You start having fun, and that kind of
just gets out of control.
Sir, we're not worried about the titties. We're worried about somebody getting their eye put out.
Hey.
I was thinking motorboating,
No, that's a fun one. Definitely can't wait to bring it back one way or another. But we've done it over the years. We did pirate. We've done steampunk. We did a Disneyland one called Tipsyland.
Oh, I bet that was great.
That makes me think of if there was crawls back in the day, you could have done with Tipsyland with Tipsy Russell.
We also what else Comic-Con, we did a superhero and stuff like that. And right now what we do, there's been years where we've done 10. Right now, the last few years we've been doing 3 night ones that are holiday focused. Like we've got the zombie crawl for Halloween, Santa crawl for Christmas, and then the Leprechaun crawl for St. Patrick's.
Yeah. The classics.
And then we've got 2 day crawls, and those have been a huge hit.
I bet. I love day drinking.
Yeah. Oh boy, people we do one that's focused on margaritas and one that's focused on mimosas. Yeah. The mimosa one has grown faster than anything we've ever done.
Yeah, because you used to have time to sleep it off.
Yeah, I was hoping. You get to well, what's great is a lot of people who used to crawl and then they've kind of
they got old.
They're like, oh yeah, I'm too old. They're like,
kids.
Man, this is great. I can go drink from noon to 6. Take a nap,
be home in time for the husband to come home. Then he'll never know.
It's also really fun dancing at nightclubs in the middle of the afternoon.
I love it.
So fun.
Love it.
So I think that's part of the popularity of it, but it has turned into, like, I hoped that 500 people would come to the first one and like 1,500 people.
Holy cow.
And
Where
now
is
it's
it?
over 6,000. It's downtown in
Oh, it's in the
Reno.
streets?
Yeah, it's we do that one in April, the Mimosa Day, and then Margarita is about half that size. It's still great. And then we do that one this year. It's going to be June 6th.
Yeah, well, there's a lot more competition in summertime.
Yeah,
competition,
attention span and stuff.
You know, weather, like it can get like
who knows in June.
Yeah, June, July, August. July, August to September. I've found hit or miss sometimes, as far as like maybe it's a little too hot. You don't want to wear too much. And so currently we don't do a whole lot of stuff during them, but we've got some cool plans that we got some things we're gonna be launching this year. Top secret, but yeah, we've got some new stuff coming.
Awesome. Well, you guys keep track at crawlreno.com. So let's get back into some of this Halloween stuff. Not that we're not having fun.
I can talk about this all
day. So Cal brought up, so we're talking about just some urban kind of legends and impacts and stuff like that. So she brought up the fact that remember when there was this big thing going around about razor blades and
remember that?
Poison.
What do they call it? It's not old wives, but what do they call it? Urban legends. Urban legends were huge in the 80s.
Well, we had so many programs going. We had serial killers. We had, there was so much creepy shit going on that they were trying to scare us with.
Yeah, it was always like, you're going to get injured or you're going to get free drugs.
Yeah, well,
or abducted.
And talk about the herd,
or pulled into a cult. That was the other one.
And talk about the herd mentality. When that happened, that actually, led to. So to answer your question, no, there wasn't really isolated cases. It wasn't. There was no
people who heard about it and then did it.
Most of the time, when something like that happened, it was because of somebody that did it to somebody that they knew. That there was some sort of kind of malice,
like a purpose.
Inside job.
Yeah, exactly. But poison candy, razor apples, but there was a concern so much that hospitals, remember, started offering to X-ray
to check your candy.
X-ray the candy.
Yeah, I mean,
X-ray the candy.
Feel like it would be difficult.
It would be so
really
hard.
difficult to hide a razor blade in
an
something.
apple.
But boy, I've always been afraid of, like I was during that time.
It's such an invasion of privacy too. If you think about the M&M guys, having to take X-rays and stuff like that.
I got taken by stuff in my candy once, but it was my own fault. We didn't go out for, remember Mischief Night?
Yes.
The night before Halloween, you would go out and cause a ruckus, right? Well,
toilet paper,
soaping windows. Well, I hadn't gone out for that, so I brought some soap with me to cause some trouble on Halloween night. Well, I'm eating my candy later, and I was eating one of those chunky bars. They're
I forgot my fudge again. I made chunky fudge.
So I'm eating them, and I wasn't paying attention, and I grabbed that bar without noticing and took just a big bite
soap.
of like ivory soap.
And you didn't even cut.
Dude, my teeth went. Oh yeah, I didn't even earn it. But my teeth got. Once your teeth like sink into soap, it's not going anywhere. You can't brush that. I was brushing and brushing and brushing. I learned several lessons. Not just there was this hilarious, but also that was karma. You know what I mean? I was soaping people's windows, and then
that is karma. That's a good example right there.
Hilarious.
Now, talking about again urban legends. So now some of the stuff that we're going to get into, you're able to see how they kind of parlayed some of these urban legends into movies that we all enjoy. Right? So the first one is just like how spooky, because Kelly, Kel, she's just this badass. She's not like most women and just like, hey, would this scare you?
You are badass.
She's just like, oh, hell no, I'll take care of that dude. You know what I mean? And so it's like, she's an anomaly. But most of the time, something that's super spooky, things that are super spooky would be a classic scene where babysitter in the home by herself, except the kids are asleep and stuff like that. And then there's a caller that's inside the house.
What is it? The cops. She calls the cops, and then they're like, "We're gonna tap the call."
Inside the house. That's exactly.
And to me, that always freaked me out because I'm like, that's not possible. Because I know how telephone technology works. I was obsessed with telephones when I was a kid, and I'm like, that's not possible unless they have a second line. And I'm like way overthinking the whole thing, and I'm just like, no. And my mother's like, it's a movie.
Or another one that's
Scream started.
That's classic. Is somebody in
Blair Witch?
backseat. Like she's been doing this all show. She's starting to piss me off. Yeah, like on my outline here, she just keeps like putting this stuff out there that I'm going to talk about.
Jumping the gun.
I'm just kidding. She's not pissing me off.
That was so good.
Remember the.
You guys are still. You're just going to go ahead and ram ahead. You're going to go ahead and ram ahead.
Back in the
you know, just be patient. God, I want to talk about this one right here, which is a backseat stalker.
Oh, that one.
Right. So, how old were you when you given some advice? Make sure that
always check the back seat.
Check.
No, that was a real thing.
Yeah. See, so this is like you guys are you're inhibiting these public safety messages that I have built into this, right?
Right.
We're undermining it.
Like, was there ever anybody in somebody's backseat that they didn't know?
I'm sure. Oh,
when you heard the story, you were told that it actually happened.
Right.
That's right.
It happened to this person at this time. Like, it was always like,
that's right.
They could tie it to something that sounded vaguely correct.
Right.
That's how our firstborn was born.
Right?
Yeah, it was a lady down the street.
Yeah. He said he was my husband.
Yeah, I just
didn't check that back seat.
Like when you get in a car, like you'd be able to feel like that's enough of a concentrated energy space that I think you'd be able to feel.
Now here's another one. Here's another one. The vanishing hitchhiker.
Ooh.
World. This is all over the world.
Like a spectral.
Like you're giving advice, just like, man, don't be hitchhiking.
Oh,
you never know.
That was such a big.
And then there was like some people that.
The hitcher?
And then there are some people out there that are actually the prey as a hitchhiker.
Yeah, no, that was the hitcher, right? It wasn't the hitcher, the bad guy. Wasn't that Rucker Hauer?
Well, I'm saying that, like you're saying, don't be hitchhiking because you never know who's going to pick you up. Bad things can happen.
Oh, same thing for the driver. It's just absolutely
right.
That was the other. Exactly don't ever pick one up either because you
don't know what's in that backpack.
Yeah, there's that scene that'll happen in a lot of movies where it starts off with someone picking up a hitchhiker, and then there's that game of like, well, which one of these is the killer? One of these guys is a killer,
right?
But we just can't really fit because at first you think like, oh, it's the innocent person who was picked up. Boy, we hope nothing happens to them, and then it turns out it's them.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
Now, what about this? So, of course, you go from Barnum and Bailey. Or even earlier than that, court jesters and stuff like that. Barnum and Bailey, the clowns and stuff like that. Now clowns, when you look at it, Pennywise with it, clowns are no bueno.
Yeah.
Right? They're all scared. Kids are scared of clowns. They're not happy anymore.
Yeah. I used to love clowns when I was a kid. Like I've never been afraid of clowns. Like that whole, like I was
Gacy that ruined it for everybody?
Probably. Maybe. I never even thought of that.
I'd say about a fifth of people are like I'd say like 4/5, clowns are great. And then there's 1/5 that are like, get these things away from me.
Yeah, and I've known people that are clownophobic. I forget what that actual term is.
I think that was
a name for it.
In the series Dexter. I think that was his first kill.
Was it clown?
Was a clown.
Oh,
yeah.
I think
it was
you're
a
right.
pedophile.
Oh, so it was kind of
it's like a Gacy thing.
Gacy, yeah. Remember, about 5-6 years ago when creepy clowns were a thing. Like guys
it was a lot longer. It was longer ago than that. Yeah.
Trying to scare people.
Yeah. There was.
That's one of those FOFO things. It was just I'm sure that somewhere down the line, one of those clowns tried to clown somebody and probably got shot.
I would.
You got to. I would somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I don't see that happening anymore.
But there was, it's like some weirdo will do that every once in a while. Definitely something I probably would have done as a teenager. But there was 1 year, like when it was at the heyday, I remember some of the bigger properties were like, for the zombie crawl, they were like, we're not going to allow any clowns.
That's interesting.
It was when people were that worried about it. Yeah.
So have you guys ever heard of Slender Man?
Yes.
I have not seen the movie.
I haven't seen it either, but it's a weird story.
Almost watched it
2009. Yeah.
It's on my list.
It is. Okay. So this is something that originated on the Something Awful forum.
Yeah, the Something Awful forums.
In a Photoshop contest. Yeah. And then it grew via creepypasta.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, you got to be.
How can I know? I don't know about all these things. That bothers me.
We people of a certain age.
2009. I'm like, what was I doing in 2009?
We weren't as online.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I kind of, being a nerd.
I was an IT tech.
A lot of us weren't.
And 2009. That's when we started the band.
I had a cell phone since 1992.
Anybody younger than I'd say anybody like 30 or younger, you say creepypasta, and they know exactly what you're saying.
Yep. Yeah, we weren't, like, Gen X wasn't driven by this kind of thing, like this, like pop culture, like the way it is today. I mean, and we were driven by pop culture, but not like it is today.
Yeah. I think, well, like people who are more naturally online or natively online found themselves in these niche message boards. Were just great. Something Awful, Fark.
Yeah, remember Fark? Oh my God, that's taking me back a ways.
A lot of those things, and then eventually you hit stuff like 4chan and stuff like that, and a lot of our memes, it's internet folklore.
Yeah. It's funny to think of that there is such a thing.
Percolated in those things, you know, and then they make it out to the wider mainstream.
Viral, yeah. Okay, Grady wants to go to our next section.
No,
Crickets.
Yeah, the crickets. Like I'm trying to
Something Awful. I think isn't that where the
have you heard the show before
on Quiznos came out? Huh?
Have you heard the show before?
This show?
Yeah, why not?
Time.
So we have. If you hear the sound,
okay.
So we have this segment called "Laughing Crickets."
Oh, okay.
Where Kel's idea. So we're joking around this early on establishing the show. So, and this may be for people that first time you're listening to the show or whatever. So Laughing Crickets is about basically, she said, you should like to have these jokes that you say about what it is that we're talking about. I'm like, well, that's a good idea. And I've done everything, you know, doing jokes by myself, you know, having them canned in a recording, you know, AI. Actually, there was
sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there was like, I did some for a while where AI came up with the joke.
He had AI write the jokes. They were
I had
terrible.
them write the jokes.
They were really
So yeah, you're not in danger of losing your job.
Okay. Yeah. So basically it's like, you know, some jokes that I have that are pertaining to Halloween and things like that.
Oh yeah.
And I'll just make myself look silly sometimes by trying to do some impressions, and I don't do them very well, but so
I'm game.
the first one. So, I got to make sure that I have this. Oh yeah. So it's crickets and laughter. The big key indicator is Cal, if I can get her to do it. Okay. What do Jeffrey Epstein and Halloween decorations have in common?
Oh, man.
Well, it's not like
they both
either one of them are going to hang themselves.
I like that.
There we go. She was late, but she came in there. Okay.
That's good.
Now
is that a clip of you laughing?
No.
It's native to the board.
That one? No, I think I got that. No, like there's
did
a lot
you
of these
download
things.
that?
I've got so much stuff on here now that like I think they give you like 8 that comes with it or something like that. But she was talking about we in this show, just so you know, we don't talk about religion or politics.
All right.
If it comes into the thread of the conversation,
but we don't go off on.
We'll
and I
look
can
for
understand
our first.
why, you know,
we want to have
it's a
fun.
waste of time.
Yeah, and it's just you know, it's like why
I know
there's so much stuff out there like that. But this to set up this joke, right? Because it talks about Jehovah's Witnesses. Because we were commenting how my grandma was Jehovah's Witness, so I got a lot of schooling in that. So they don't of course do the holiday things, right? And so have you ever noticed, of course, how Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate Halloween?
Yes.
Yeah, and well, I guess they don't appreciate random people just coming up to their door. Again, no, that looks sincere. You guys weren't faking.
No.
That's
a good one.
You chuckle out of me.
2 for 2. Okay, now this one I'm going to have to tell this joke. So it has to do with vampires.
Okay.
All right, so these 3 vampires they're having a competition to find out who's the most vicious, evil vampire amongst them.
All right. So
the first one says, "What's this?" And so he flies fast, and about 100 miles an hour. And after about 10 minutes, he comes back and he's got like blood all over his mouth. All the other 2 vampires ask, you know, what happened? He's like, "Do you see that house over there?" 2 vampires nod their heads. It's just like, "Well, I killed the entire family and sucked the blood dry." And wow, that's fascinating, said the other 2. And then the second one takes the next turn. Now watch and learn, guys. So he flies even faster, you know, about 120 miles an hour. Only took about 5 minutes. He comes back with blood all over his mouth and his neck. Mouth and neck. "What happened?" They ask him. "You see that village over there?" The others nod their heads. "Well, I killed every last person in that village and I sucked their blood dry." Wow, amazing. Those guys are tripping, right?
Yeah.
Finally, the last one steps in. He's saying, "Don't blink or you're going to miss this." I don't know my vampire voice.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Very Vlad.
But he flies really fast, even faster than the other 2. He's like 140 miles an hour. And after a mere 30 seconds, he comes back with blood all over his mouth, his neck, and his nose. And they're like, what did you do? And he's like, do you see that big ass tree over there? And they're like, yeah. And he's just like, well, I didn't.
Very good.
I thought that was good. Okay, now this last one, Ed, we always have a little bonus. I always like playing
Extra
around
credit.
with this as this extra credit. So this one I actually have a recording. Indulge.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. So it's Halloween, and Bob decides he's going to throw a costume party, and he has an excellent turnout. Party's packed. I mean, wall to wall. Everyone is dressed up. Well, like almost everyone, because Bob sees his coworker George across the room. He's at this party just wearing a pair of jeans, no shirt, no shoes, no socks, nothing, just jeans. So Bob decides to go ahead and confront him about his lack of costume.
George, I'm so glad you showed up to my party, but it's a costume party. I'm gonna have to ask if you'd put on a costume or leave.
What do you mean? I am in a costume.
Well, what in the world are you supposed to be then?
A premature ejaculation?
I don't get it. How are you in a costume dressed up as a premature ejaculation?
Well, I just came in my pants.
Oh, that is clever.
That was cute.
Yeah.
What could I say?
No, I like that. That's clever.
All right. Were we three for four? 4 for 4?
So I guess if it ever happens, you just throw off all your clothes and say you're in a costume.
All I can say is that guy is pretty innovative.
That is. That's
You know, like he didn't have to spend a lot of money. You know, I don't know. That'd be pretty funny. I'll have to get permission on that one. All right, now back to the movies. Iconic Halloween movies. And so one of the tropes, movie tropes that we love is think about, of course, everybody loved Jamie Lee Curtis.
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And Halloween, Michael Myers. I was still a kid. I was like a
those.
teenager.
I didn't like
man.
either Halloween
Halloween
or Friday the
scared
13th.
the
Like either franchise.
shit out of me,
I
man.
liked Halloween 3.
The first
That-
yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Dead serious.
She's
What was it?
gaslighting.
Something
Unbelievable.
I mean,
Oh, see, I
Myers isn't out.
So now, Kel,
Yeah.
you're going to like this, though. So think about it. Halloween, Scream. So there's a premise that works, okay, in these movies, and it's called, and this is a phrase that was coined. I have notes here somewhere. I'll come across them. So the final girl. The final girl
Yeah, it's a trope.
premise is the last survivor
interesting.
that overcomes the killer. So it kind of goes into girl power.
Oh, how funny!
You know,
I never.
you
I
know,
didn't think about it.
the damsel in distress,
Uh-huh.
you know, type of thing, right?
Runs and fat.
It's well, in this case, it's the person who outlasts everyone. I think part of the trope, they're usually like kind of innocent or like the most, because a lot of times the people who are getting it on get killed. But
Mhm.
like, there's a whole trope around the whole.
Yeah, because she was
final-
an innocent babysitter, you know,
Mhm.
not a troublemaker or anything like that, you know, young, innocent age. I think she was like supposed to be 16 or something like that, you know, back in the day. And Jamie Lee Curtis, the final girl. Now, here's another one. So the mask stalker, and we hit on this before you arrived, Ed, which is like this faceless killer, you know, erases identity. You don't know who it is with Michael Myers, you know, certainly fits in that. Jason, Friday the 13th. You know,
Yes.
all these things you don't know what this person looks like, and because the ambiguity.
So close.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Anyway, that unknown feeling almost feels omnipresent. Now, what is it? What kind of is your jam, Kel? Like, how can she not like Halloween? My wife doesn't like scary movies either. She won't watch.
I used to be obsessed with it when I was
Mhm.
younger, and now I can't. I'm such a physical empath. I can't see people get hurt.
What about like the Dream Logic movies, like the Nightmare on Elm
I
Street?
love
yes.
those.
You-
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
see, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 was absolutely
Yeah.
classic.
That was-
Dream Warriors.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
many great people in that.
Yeah.
Such great. Like,
Dogging.
they were at the top of their game, I think.
Oh,
at
yeah.
3. 3 was just fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Robert
Which is
Englund
hard to
was so
do in
good.
movies, right? By the time you get to the third one, you're just like,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
my gosh, you're rolling your eyes, you know,
Yeah,
at the
I liked-
storylines and stuff.
I
So,
like the suspense. you know.
Friday the 13th 4 was the best too.
yeah.
Like Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Friday the
Yeah.
13th 4. 4 was a final chapter. It had
Mhm.
like Corey Feldman in it.
That's
Oh, right.
That one was really good.
My all-time favorite movie ever is The Lost Boys.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not
So-
really.
so-
really a horror movie
not
per
really.
se.
Oh, I would.
It wasn't
was some
marketed that
parts.
way.
Here,
It was marketed as a vampire movie.
Rolling Stone, what do they call it? The movie that made vampires cool.
Yeah, I know it word for. I still watch it. I never get sick.
So good. You know about that final girl trope? There's an actress here in town, Crystal Massey. She does a bunch of art. She's in the Potentialist Workshop. She does a lot of acting, a bunch of stuff. But she was in a movie, like a feature, I believe, like called Final Girl.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so
is.
it's got some Reno, like Reno's got its own Final Girl.
Little.
Wow.
Is
There's
there-
actually some pretty good movie projects that have been going around here the last few years. Now, let's see. Now, you mentioned the Blair Witch Project.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, the reason that I wanted to put this off you guys is because I wanted you guys to hear of what a dumbass that I was. So I don't know how it happened, but somebody recommended that you got to go see the Blair Witch Project. And that's all they told me. I didn't look.
So great.
I didn't look into it.
Yeah.
All I was told was that the movie's a full-on documentary. Somebody found
It's
some
really
film
happened,
footage, and it's just a trip.
Yeah.
You know, and they said it's spooky. That's all they said. It's spooky. So I went into it with the understanding that I was watching just somebody that was running around with a camera. And so anybody that's seen it knows in the end, you are just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I would lose my shit.
I loved that movie
like,
when
you
it
know,
came out.
because again, you found out that this dirt is like not been disturbed for like a long time, you know. Anyway, I found out that of course it was made for about $100,000.
They did such a
and
good
I
job.
felt
They
like
really did.
such an idiot. I was like, I got duped.
I got caught
but-
on to the marketing very early on. I
Yeah.
heard about it, so I knew what they were doing.
Yeah,
and
I had no idea.
And like
It was pretty freaking
fascinating.
scary.
You know, like as
I'm
they
telling you,
released
man,
stuff
like,
about
watching that,
documentary
it was
films
like
found.
one of the most
you
scary
really
moments
thought.
that I had ever
I
experienced in that. Just anyway,
I thought, yeah, this is a movie. It's, it's fiction. And then about a week or two before it came out, I think
That
it was
the
History
flip-flop.
Channel.
People like, was it real? Was it not?
Well,
like nobody knew for sure.
Super clever tie-in they did, which was like a History Channel back when it actually had like history on it. I think they had a 30-minute show or something about how the
They
footage
did
had
it,
been
yeah.
found. So
So they legitimized it.
Exactly. So I remember the conversation with my friend who was like, I was like, oh, it's a fiction, it's a fiction movie. I think that's a great premise. And they were like, oh, no. I just watched a show about this.
Mhm.
This is real. And
Wow.
so we,
I don't remember
yeah, we
that.
definitely walked into it going like, well, yeah, I mean,
It-
these are
it-
tapes
was,
that were
well,
found.
it was plausible. That was
Yeah.
the whole thing. That's
Yeah.
what sold it. When
They
you
did
when
a great job.
because
Yeah.
they introduced that. Is it real? Is it not? Is it real? Is
Yeah.
it not? And they had the whole controversy
And
going.
found
Yeah.
footage made it legitimate because you have this, shaky cam that people weren't used to. The idea of found footage, it was it was groundbreaking in that
Yeah.
in that
It
way.
was.
Yeah.
Well, and it was so effective. Again, it shows like the power of your mind. Like if you
Power
go
of
in
propaganda.
well, no, I'm talking
Yeah, that
about
too.
the power. Like there's of course you can go out and see this to where guy that doesn't have he knows that there's a fake arm over here and his arms on
right,
the
yeah.
other side, and then they'll actually make fillings on this, or actually on the hand that he can't see.
Mhm.
While they're doing it on the other one, and over a period of time, after a few minutes, the guy smashes this prosthetic with a hammer, and the dude feels it.
Yeah, or at least
Like,
freaks out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So under the same type of thing, thinking that this was like legit going into that movie, man, it really was just like I scared.
It spooked me.
Like the movies don't have it because I always know that it's pretend, right? But I didn't think that
When you
was
thought it was
pretend,
Yeah.
and so it was very powerful. After finding out, of course, that it was a production. And then when Blair Witch 2, I was so pissed I didn't even want to have anything to do with it.
Right? Yeah, that was dumb that they came out with a second one. I was like, what?
I think also part of what made the first one legit was just how low budget it was.
Mhm.
you
Yeah, it was
know,
like $100 grand.
Yeah, they scared the crap out of these people with just like box of scraps.
Well,
like
kind
it was
of
just
same type of thing happened. Not the same thing. It's a romantic movie, but interesting how the name Ghost was something that they did the same type of thing. I think they made this thing with like nothing, like a couple $100,000.
we're talking
Of
about
course,
like the Patrick Swayze,
Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore,
yeah.
but this was before she's big. I mean, she just, 'cause she was known in their soap opera
Mhm.
on General Hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, Ghost, same type of thing. Sometimes, and it was underground. There was only, I think, Ghost opened, like 20 theaters throughout the country. So by the time you got to go see Ghost. You got to go see Ghost. It had all the momentum.
It was a
and then
phenomenon by then.
The rest is,
I mean,
well, it had its momentum for sure. And then, of course, the rest is history. Let's see. So smart horror, high concept allegory with real stakes. So Get Out. Like, do you like Get Out?
Oh, Get Out.
I love Get Out, right?
Never
A Quiet Place with the blind guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Quiet. No, don't breathe.
Don't Breathe.
Yes,
exactly.
That was that. Have you seen Don't Breathe?
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah,
because it's like
they have a sequel on that one. The second one was not bad either.
Yeah,
it's
the
a
actor
little
who
bit
plays
better
him,
into his psycho, like tough ass looking guy. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's like old dude who's like just looks like he could tear it up, you know. And then a bunch of kids I think go in to rob his place, but isn't he? He's like a psycho killer or something like that. He's got like a kill room.
In the end, he's got a sordid past, you know. But he just like is that old guy that just wants to be left alone, and you know, he has his fam taking care of his family.
And they think like, oh, this guy's old and blind. You know, we'll be able to. And then it turns out he's a
pretty
hardcore.
Yeah.
And he keeps he's got his place kind of decked out like a
like a trap.
Yeah, if you come inside and if I don't want you to get out, you're trying to do something mean, you're going to get what's coming to him. So good stuff. But I like Get Out too. That was a trip. You didn't see that?
But doesn't he have like an apprentice like as a kid or something like that he teaches?
Well, there's Get Out too. Well, Get Out. So he goes. The guy shows up with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And anyway, it turns out that again it was a trap. It's just these unusual things, but
pretty wild.
Yeah, I love watching an occasional little scary movie out there. So let's see, Kel. So what kind of a ridiculous urban legend do you think that if I came up with a urban legend that you'd be able to debunk it?
Probably.
You think so?
Yeah, that's what I do.
That's going to get my thoughts going. I have to work on that. Maybe I'll conspire with Ed.
There you go.
Maybe I'll conspire with Ed.
We'll make a new one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with
let's see. So what's the verdict? Okay, so I have a list here. Basically what this is, Ed, is, the panel will give us something that's maybe trending or some sort of headline or something that's kind of going on out into the universe. And you guys just basically give it a thumbs up or thumbs down and then explain why. So what's the verdict? You guys get to do the verdict.
So we get to thumb up and thumb down it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
Siskel and Ebert.
So Kel, you had mentioned haunted houses being one of your jams. You love haunted houses, right? So
shout out Dark Corner.
There you go. Okay, so this may be topic.
Eli still around?
Oh, Eli Kerr?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he's around. He's a magician though. Maybe he's hiding. But like I remember he had a great haunted house. Such a performer. That guy, he's a consummate memory lane.
Nobody but except for us is going to know who you're talking about.
Right.
Well, I mean,
he was pretty famous.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Locally. Like he did
local legend.
Yeah.
Blonde dude. He did he had shows at the casinos.
Mm-hmm.
So he would do kind of was it Siegfried and Roy type thing? Was it animals or whatever? Like he would do magic.
Yeah.
He's just a total performer. And then once a year he'd around Halloween.
They did it down at the ballroom or down at the bowling station, right?
Yeah, we did
and then they invented the ballroom one
year.
The
bowling station was Dark Corner.
That's Dark Corner.
They have the Dark Prison this year in Carson, I believe. But like they for years have been building up or at least I'd say the last 3 years where they put on. Now I liked Eli Kerr's
really
great,
rap.
but the people who are putting on the Dark Corner stuff, that's like movie level.
I know Jess Schneider was working with.
Yes, and Holly Spar and Dustin Ring, like they've put together. I mean, they have a whole warehouse where it's year round. They're building this stuff, and I got to tour it.
Production studio type.
We did a video together that promoted the Zombie Crawl a couple years ago, and it's one of my favorite things we've ever put on. And they brought like such a level of professionalism and horror mastery that anything they do, go see. Because they do a very, very.
So their projects they moved from different places. So they like established locations.
I think it was 2 years they did the ballpark or the bowling alley.
Bowling studio.
And there was there's a theme to each one.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Like right on commercial. Yeah,
the bowling state. They put it on in there.
But I mean, there's a haunted. I saw a haunted house that was set up, and so you're talking about where the substation is for the PD. Where, of course, the big bowling,
right down there.
and then across the street, in between
So in the actual bowling
Oh, it's
stadium,
Inside.
It's
They
inside.
made it out.
area of it. The last year that they did it here, I think there was 2 separate ones you went through before.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
finished.
I think so too.
Gotcha.
Super spooky, just really, you feel like it's just so super
Like
immersive. You're
major
in
pro.
a thing,
Right.
You're in a movie.
Yeah. So if you have a bad ticker, probably not your thing.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
if that's the way you want to go.
Yeah, or, right.
I like it.
Could be worse. Could be worse ways.
That is a good point.
That is.
So now back to the haunted house. So here back to thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah.
Waivers. Controversy with waivers at haunted houses, right? Because you got this intense fear experience versus consent and safety. So a lot of people, they don't like signing waivers, I guess.
Sure.
Or whatever. So the pros, of course, of this is that
it's a must. There's no, you can't.
you're
I
early.
think
You're
it's
early.
a gimmick.
Hold on,
Uh-oh.
Kel. Golly,
Sorry.
she can't wait. It's like if you were in a track meet, you'd be coming out of the blocks like all the
Right.
time.
Yeah.
You'd be like disqualified after the 3rd time. So the pros of course, waivers that you're getting informed consent and there's clear boundaries from a legal standpoint, right? And of course, the pressure to sign, and then I guess the most plausible con is that there is sometimes this uneven enforcement of safety, or
But I like your point
enforcement of
that
safety.
it's a
I
marketing
should get.
tool.
So for thumbs up, thumbs down, waivers, yes, thumbs.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean,
I
as
would
a
say yes,
business
too.
person,
I have no problem
As a
with
gimmick,
waiver.
I think it's great.
And I think it
It's-
helps.
Yeah, because I think that it raises someone's anxiety level, or like they're like this.
Excitement.
This is so scary.
I
We
can
need
do
you
this.
to sign a waiver. Your
Yeah,
head
yeah.
explodes. Can't be our fault.
right?
And that kind of sets the stage for
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
sign a waiver.
Part of marketing.
I might not have both my arms when I'm finished this.
I like
I
it.
count my kids that I came in.
Right. Yeah,
We have
no,
the
that
same
makes
amount.
perfect sense. But as a business owner, a business person, they're necessary. You have to.
All right.
You just, because there's always going to be that one.
Due
asshole.
diligence.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
another question for Ed, okay, because you're involved with this directly. So the question is about no masks, the no mask rule at bars, right? So
Mhm.
because it makes it difficult for security to identify underage, right? And so it's easier for staff if there's no mask rules, but then, it does camp in the cosplay, and the fun, kind of puts a damper, on this particular thing.
Not
But
in too many costumes though.
Mhm.
There's not too much.
what if it was like, if
Couldn't
you
choose
have
something
come in
else
with
if
a
you go to
mask,
a
it has
bar.
to be removable. But I think the issue is once it's actual makeup and it can't come off, type of thing. That's really what creates a challenge, for these.
Like
bar
anything, you got to
owners.
be able to navigate those challenges. I think
Mhm.
it's like, you could do stuff like if you're going to heavily makeup, have a few pictures of yourself, maybe getting it done.
Yeah.
That's a
When
You
they
can
look
show.
at your ID and you don't usually have that many teeth.
Mhm.
Right.
There's a
Just say here.
medium.
Yeah.
Because safety and I think compliance and stuff like that, it's a dance. It's it's
There are no
fluid.
hard and fast.
So so it's a kind of like, you're working with humans and humans want to feel safe and like the bars want to feel like they are doing their due diligence
Yeah.
and you
They don't want to be
fun.
fined.
Yeah, so you just kind of think ahead, think like, well, if I were the guy working the door, what would give me some confidence? Oh, well, befores and afters as far as like on my phone, and then it makes sense. It kind of builds the bridge between what I look like right now. I don't
Yeah.
usually have 3 heads. I don't usually, I
So you're
look so
saying
dead.
I
be
like that's a good idea.
proactive. So
It could help,
thumbs
yeah.
up as far as the no mask rules. You're saying okay, like a
Like-
begrudging thumbs up,
And-
but there are things that people could do as far as like taking the pictures, like you said beforehand, or even reaching out, Kel, to the bar, say, hey, I know that you guys have a no mask rule, but I'm going to be coming
I'm gonna
as
be a
Count
ninja.
Dracula. Is it okay if I, my name's such and such? Is it okay if I bring some pictures with
Yeah,
my ID,
asking is
stuff
always
like
super
that?
smart because
right?
everything is negotiated by a human. So there's going to be a human at the door going, oh, I either feel good about having you come in here or I feel bad
Mhm.
about having you
Right.
come in here. I think all these folks have been doing what they've been doing for a long time,
Mhm.
that they have a pretty good idea of who they're dealing with and, whether it's the person in the thing. But if you have a question about it, if you're like, well, I just spent $300 on movie makeup, then, protect your investment,
Mhm.
figure out something that might help. Like, I think, we all have phones.
Yeah.
Phones
Yeah,
all have
that-
video and photos.
That's a great idea.
Here's the 3-step process I went through.
That
Can I
should work.
please get in and have some
Yeah.
beer?
Yeah.
If they can spend $300 on makeup, that means that they can pay their bar bill. So
Yeah,
why don't
right,
you, just
right.
get them there.
I think too, a lot of it's, not as much with makeup unless it's like serious, like spirit gum, whole thing. But like with just heavy face makeup or something, it's not as big a deal. But I think they're talking about like pirates and ninjas and actual, physical.
Well, the
masks
best thing,
too.
if you do have something you can just take off, that's great. Yeah, take
Yeah.
it off. You're not working at Disneyland. You can take your helmet off or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and all that stuff gets navigated. It's usually not that much of a problem.
Yeah. What's your current take on prank culture? Videos that you see, or
I
just
think-
like I'm just pranking, man. But I mean,
It is a art form, questionable quotation marks.
it
that I
started with
think
that candid camera back in the day.
Yeah, no,
you
and
know what
I
mean?
think I
Yeah.
think some stuff can be good, but I think
Right.
it's an art form that begs like hacks.
Mhm.
Like I think that it's you could do pranking well.
Right.
It's something where everybody feels entertained, but I think that a lot of pranking that I see, like especially on like YouTube and stuff,
It just
like that,
gets
it's
mean.
just,
Yeah.
you know,
Same.
Yeah.
it doesn't take any work to be a jerk. It's like
Right.
that's the thing, and
Yeah.
bothers me is that it's not funny and you didn't really bring anything. If
Yeah.
if the prank
You just mess
is-
with somebody.
there's a difference between like ruining someone's day and entertaining them with a prank.
With
Just
like a
so
little
something can
foible.
hopefully go viral. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
So
the
thumbs,
person-
thumbs
yeah.
down on pranks.
Oh, Think
And
so,
that's
yeah.
the other thing too. Stuff is so stageable now. I mean, everybody has their video cameras, and
Right.
they, like, oh, let's prank somebody. Wink,
Right.
wink, nudge, nudge.
The
Actually
bar is
acting.
really low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, have you guys heard of backyard haunts?
Yeah,
Yeah, like do it yourself.
amateur.
Oh yeah, like your own.
And so thumbs up or thumbs down on that.
Thumbs way up.
Anything innovative that people can take, a grand concept that's normally corporatized and do their own. I love it.
Really
Anything like that.
brings a lot to the neighborhood.
Absolutely. And the people who do the big decorations and the lights and the dancing
Mhm.
lights and the songs and stuff, I think that's
Love that.
amazing. I love that.
All right. Now, what do you like? Let's compare and contrast this. This is a preference thing. So, do you think it's better when people do couples costumes, or do you like it better when they do like solo icons and
Depends.
their own character?
Totally depends
What does it depend
on how well it's executed.
Yeah. I like couple stuff.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah,
Or just group costumes too.
or group
fantastic.
costumes. The group
Uh-huh.
costumes
Love
are
that.
really good.
Okay.
But yeah, like couples costumes, if they're done well, like a toilet and plunger, or
Now,
like
this one
really
has to
well
do
done.
with etiquette, right? So, the basic thumbs up or thumbs down is on posting kids' costumes publicly. So, you got bragging on your kids or whatever, but there's the privacy and safety issues, right? Do you really want your kids, especially in today's climate, Seems like
I'd
kids,
rather have my kid
kids
in
are
a
more
costume
vulnerable.
than regular.
Well, I'm talking about post them on there publicly. So, just blowing
I
up
think-
and stuff like that.
Personal preference.
Yeah.
Some folks don't want their children's faces to be on the internet.
Because it's a
Totally understand.
digital footprint,
Sure.
kind of apprehensive about that.
We were always like, pretty proud. One year, especially like when our daughter was, older toddler, like probably
Mhm.
3.5, maybe
Mm.
4.
Mhm.
Her mom dressed her up like Chucky and did such a perfect
Wasn't that-
job.
Yeah.
Perfect job.
Yeah.
And so we took a million photos of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Posted
But
them all over the
everybody
internet.
knew Paige.
She's
I mean,
so-
she was like
she's so
Reno's.
proud of it.
She was like Reno's child.
It was really fun. I mean, her mom painstakingly did a very good recreation of, and she looked perfect. She looked
Yeah.
so good. And there was a point where we took her downtown, and it was great. Like parents would see her, and then they'd look down at their kid like,
And they,
"Why did you want to be a princess?"
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Or like at them, like, oh, I only did.
It was, but we took her downtown, and then she was chasing me around with this big knife and giggling, just
Yeah.
like it was very Chucky. And
Yeah.
we taught her a couple of the phrases, and she was repeating those, and it was fun to get chased around. Like, I was like, this is great.
Did
Like,
she
I feel a
happen-
little scared.
Did she happen to get a cease and desist from John Gruden?
She should have. Who's John Gruden?
He used to be the Raiders coach.
Chucky.
football coach.
Yeah, he's
They
Chucky.
call him Chucky because he sort of
Yeah.
looked like him.
See,
I love it. So now, before you got here, Ed, we did kind of go over a couple of little traditions you may find interesting.
lay 'em on.
So you know how we do the pumpkin carving.
Hmm.
So that originated from this Irish dude who made a deal with the devil, and he had to walk around with a piece of coal that had the coal was inside a carved turnip. And so I guess we found out about it, and they were just like, let's change the turnip to pumpkin.
We don't do turnips in America.
Yeah, and then so that's how pumpkin started.
Wow.
Right.
Like jack-o'-lantern started off as turnips.
Yeah. Now, as we talked about earlier, now this is, of course, some of your under the myths, but the poison candy, it's largely a myth. Media narratives escalated. It's a very rare type of thing. And as I mentioned, that a lot of these things were with people that they knew, that was just basically just doing mean and nefarious things.
Like,
So
I'm sick of this kid.
Yeah, I hate that neighbor kid.
Knocking his baseball through my window.
Yeah,
Take care of that, man.
Something like that.
A little bit of rat poison in the milk duct.
Yeah, like something comes over you and you're like, yeah, that's a good idea.
To be honest, I kind of understand.
Yeah, I do too.
So the final girl phrase was coined by Carol Clover. I knew I had this note here somewhere. 1992, right? So you think of all the movies that were made before, like you got
final female.
You got Michael Myers. 1978 was the original. 1978 or 79, one of those. I think it was 78, 79, somewhere around there for the original Halloween. So you're talking 14 years later is when she coined Final Girl.
Yeah, because there have been so many people kind of using that trope over time. That eventually, just like Mary Sue and lots of other, like the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Why are all our tropes punishing women for having the same character that mostly men were writing?
Yeah.
There should be tropes where we make fun of dude characters.
October 20, 1978.
78, yeah, there you go. It looks like it was about $300,000 that movie was made with.
That was a lot of money back then.
Well, and I'll bet most of it went to Jamie Lee Curtis, because she was the most famous.
Was she famous by that time? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, for different stuff.
Yeah. So then she was, what was that one? She was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
True Lies.
Such a good one.
That was a really good, that's such a like a movie theater movie, a popcorn movie.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater. That was great.
Now, this last bullet that I have here in this segment is, again, talking about how local events boost economies and community. And that's why, again, thank you for coming down here, Ed.
Oh, thanks.
Especially under short notice. Yesterday.
Oh man, I was excited.
Like we're talking about Halloween, man. I forgot about it. You popped up on Facebook. I'm like, what have I been thinking?
Happened for a reason.
So, but crawls. How many? Here's a. Hopefully, I'm teeing this up correctly. How many? If you know, how many crawls are there across the USA, and then what makes yours unique? What's different about yours that people can expect versus other crawls?
Yeah, I can handle that one. So there's two different types of crawls in my mind. Like there's the locally based where they have, built and nurtured something that is specifically, flavored to that city. And I have a lot of respect for those. Like, so,
for example,
there's some cities like Chicago has got a great, they call it the T-Box, or the 12 Bars of Christmas. And so it's a Santa crawl that's been going on for like 25 years.
Wow.
A lot of respect for those guys. I've talked with the owner before. Just I'll call up other promoters around the country.
That's shit. Like,
do you guys
smart.
Directory?
No, I started. A lot of the guys that I called were like, "No one's ever done this," and I was like, "Well, man, we should be talking about our just a lot of things that
starting
come up
an
for
association,
us because these events are very unique in the way that we don't like rent a tent and say you got to get a ticket to come inside this tent. It's more like we are pushing people into businesses and pumping the money into the local businesses.
Right.
And so it does create like a very different animal from other events. And it's good to chat. It's good to talk about stuff. And so you got those, right? Then you've got these, basically this happens with a lot of stuff, but like people look at those and go, oh, well, I could do that too.
Do that.
And then the next thing they think of is I will do it all over the country. Right, because it's the same thing, right? And they've caused an issue. They used to, because there would be a lot of confusion between. Well, what is like? There's some companies that will just throw out 200 events on Facebook, and in all these different cities, and then they do a really, really poor job because when I started
too spread out.
Well, when I started doing this, you have an impact on the city, big impact,
big time.
I take it very seriously.
Concerns.
And so when I first started, I thought, okay, well, I'll model my system in a way that like I could take this to other cities. And it wasn't too long before I thought, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because I don't ever want to do this in a city that I don't really have a deep stake in.
Of course.
And understand the impact. I want to, it's like, it's not just the impact on the whole city. I want to know on this block, in this area, is there an issue? And I think that it's irresponsible to go, well, I'm in some, basement office in Minnesota, but I think I can put on an event in Reno or Sacramento.
Just not
Even
knowing
know
the
the
local
city.
government alone.
So there are hundreds of those.
Oh, sure.
Just hundreds and hundreds. And
wow.
they most of the time the event doesn't even happen.
Right.
A lot of times what they're doing is they're setting up fake events that they end up canceling beforehand, but they're building a customer database that they could sell. Yeah. I could talk forever about
all of it. I mean,
everybody's got their issues.
Now, what makes you different?
So, and what I will say too is about, as far as those go, like the big kind of 10,000, 15,000, larger, and a lot of them didn't make it out of COVID too because a big event, but I would say there's probably at least 50. Well, no, it might only be 10, but like somewhere between 10 and 50 of those, like really, really large scale, where it makes a really positive impact in the city, and like it really boosts the feeling of like camaraderie, and like
They're kind of over the 5-year hump.
It gives an impression of like, this is something cool that we have and that we've built,
right?
And they're all different. Like for instance, okay, what we have here in Reno that makes I call it the crawl capital. We've got 70 bars in walking distance, and they're not huge. They are all different. They're all going to give you a different like experience, and they all are very used to this. Like, not every bar is purely relying on locals or like not just locals, but I mean like regulars, right? So it's built in this hospitality effect where it's like all are welcome. And so you got 70 bars where all are welcome. Everybody's in walking distance. And then on top of that, we've got the casinos, which like resort casinos that are like, I love the casinos.
I
like, being
love
able
them.
to like, I could walk like, if I need to pick me up or just kind of feel like I'm on vacation, I can do it for an hour. Like I can just drive over to the casino, walking inside.
I go
We've got
weekly.
this really special place that's got, it
Exciting.
feels like I'm on vacation, and then I can go back to whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
Really,
It's nice living in a vacation destination.
It is.
And we're under
And a small one.
We're not some 15 million person city. It's
No,
a
and we're
small
not
town, but
we're
we've got
not
this
mini
cool-
Vegas either.
Yeah, we got this cool stuff, and we have this proximity to Burning Man. So you've got this culture that like loves to dress
Bohemian.
up and loves to go do weird stuff. And so I think that there's no way to recreate what we specifically have in Reno because of those things. It's like we've got this community that supports this weird thing and is also very welcoming to people coming from out of town. We've got the bars and the hospitality industry that's very, very unique. We're world class, but we're real small. And so you can't just go, oh, I can do that in this other city. You can't. There's nowhere else you can do exactly what we do.
No.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we've got the Reno Arch, that like draws people. There's just so many things that make us such a unique place. And also I think Reno grew up kind of like the youngest child or the middle child, where it's like we had to create our own excitement and fun. Like I think for the longest time, Reno didn't have that like it was kind of it was fun to kind of like make fun of us, which is great.
Yeah,
like
I love that.
builds your uniqueness. Like no one made Modesto 911.
Right.
Yeah.
They made Reno 911. We're weird and we're quirky.
We were able to actually use that redheaded stepchild, I think you're trying to refer to, type of thing as a cloak.
Oh, totally.
To be able to, how great it was. I've been here almost 30 years, and after about 3, and having been here a long time, it seems like that's about the window. People move here, and after about 3 years, if you're not, addicted to drugs, a gambling addict, you can your relationships. Anyway, there's a period of time where you're going to have all these vices that are right in front of your face all the time, as far as being at your disposal if you want to do it. If you have discipline, it's a great place to be able to like hit.
I do think that Reno's culture, and especially like our subcultures and stuff, I think we have a maturity about us as far as vices go, because they're not hidden. We're celebrated, or at least it's like I do hope that we can keep a hold of that grittiness as long as possible, because that culture also comes along with a sense of we're all on the same level. Like we're not huge on VIP. We're not huge on like
look
there's
at our
haves
events.
and have-nots.
Yeah.
Everybody
Gala
together.
events. I call them. The dress code is
That's a good
Reno
point.
formal.
Yeah,
because people will show up in ball gowns
We're
and
not
people will show up
pretentious.
in jeans and t-shirts.
100%. And they're all
And
accepted.
works.
Yeah, they're all
Yep.
accepted. I think we're not a very pretentious. We're a city that you'd want to sit down and have a beer with. And so I think you can't create that somewhere else. And so, like, I don't think it's just, obviously me that created what I have. And also, too, I wasn't the first, Matty Godert, who created the Santa Crawl that we run now, but like, he started it 6 years before I was doing my stuff. He created this. He was like, I'm going to get Santa suits for 12 of my friends because he's a generous dude and he likes his friends. And we're all going to like bar hop. And that turned into what we have as the Santa Crawl now. So I owe everything to him and that. But it's not just me, but I think that our community, like this would not have become what it is unless we had all make Reno.
I love it. Well, let's see here. We got about 5 minutes, maybe 8, so let's talk about you a little bit. And so share with everybody how you first conceptualized it. Was it a total dovetail? Or where was that moment, that crystallizing moment? Yeah.
What happened to me with this is that I love Halloween. I'm an October baby.
Oh, when's your
And I
birthday?
love October 1st.
Oh, my mother's was October 1st. Happy birthday. Lisa.
Nice.
Great mom.
Yeah.
And I love zombies. And one year I just noticed that like Halloween was on a Friday night. And I was like, I want to do for my, like I mostly celebrate my birthday more
Now,
closely.
did you already know the Santa story at this time when this was
I was
crystallizing?
vaguely familiar with the Santa Crawl. Like, you'd hear about every year. I had not gone on it. I remember seeing an article in the R&R. This really cool picture of like a punk Santa pushing another Santa in like a shopping cart or something. And I remember thinking like, what a cool event. That
Are
looks
you sure that wasn't Jackass?
When did Thriller come into it?
So I think it was the first year.
Huh.
So 2000, it was 8 was the first zombie crawl. And I was like, I just want to throw a party with my friends. Put up posters, got the Twitter account, and just about 300
Twitter
people showed up.
2008.
Yeah. 300 people showed up. And I was real stoked. We had like 14, I think, bars on. It was really fun just kind of setting it up and getting it together. That crew that I said that Oliver was part of and stuff like that, all of us, a lot of, we were just like, hey, this is an idea. I think I got a lot of the help from a lot of guys who were like part of that little, our little think tank. It was super fun. Like there were moments in that first one where like, oh, you know what? I guess what I probably, yes, we did do Thriller. The Thriller practices were like held in like my like 700 square foot apartment
in
where
Midtown?
No, in downtown, like in the heart of downtown.
Yeah, the house was in Midtown.
Moved all of our furniture out of the living room and fit like probably, I don't know, 6 people. And we were doing, yeah. And I remember even the Thriller dance at that time was in Brick Park, which is like over by Wingfield. And the speakers wouldn't, like the radio we were using was too soft, like it just wouldn't get loud enough. And so I'd stand there kind of say anything style, holding it above my head. And it was like, it was magic. It was so cool having like, this group of 300 people doing, like creating a moment that'll never happen again. I remember there was a stretch, there's an alley between what's now Red Rock. It was Red Rock then too, and used to be Strega Bar. And now it's Walden's, I believe, coffee shop, right? And there's an alley that stretches between them. And a bunch of us, I ran from Red Rock to run ahead of everybody, and I got in front of Strega. And just because I wanted to see all the zombies shambling down the alley, like really felt like a movie.
Yeah.
And then it was funny too, because there was 2 women who were dressed like paramilitary people. And really hot paramilitary people. And they got up on the pillars in front and started dancing like go-go's as the people were streaming, like the zombies were shambling down the street and then making it in there. And I remember like there was maybe 2 or 3 people with me and we all watched it and just went like, we just made a movie moment. Like this, and no one was, it wasn't a movie that a billion people see. The 5 of us saw it. And then everybody who was a part of it got to experience it. Those are the moments that you could just tell. I live for that. It's so much fun.
Oh, There's nothing like seeing smiling faces.
Yeah, so we did
Right?
that
People
one.
having a good time.
And the bars were like, thank you, do another one. We started a Valentine's Vampire one. It actually was bigger at first, but then it kind of, because it was like an underground, like Valentine's Day sucks, do this instead.
Yeah. And vampires were such a big thing for a while there.
Yeah, then Twilight came and kind of ruin that. And then also too, it's like, once there was like a couple thousand people.
Yeah.
Once it was so funny because once there was like a couple thousand people, they were like, "Why are we dressed like vampires?" It was kind of like once it became mainstream, it was kind of like, "Why are we doing this?" So it eventually kind of petered out, but it was the impetus of kind of like this has got me really excited.
Yeah.
And then over the years, we experimented with different themes. Like I said, I built a really great friendship with Maddie, who was running the Santa crawl, and at the time, a superhero crawl, and he ended up letting us put that on. And then now, they were really gracious to like kind of pass the torch on the Santa crawl to us.
Yeah.
So it just kind of evolved. I'm not really good at keeping a job. Yeah, I thought, man, I'm broken. But then it turns out I can do this.
You're neurodivergent, I would guess.
I found the thing I can do. I love putting on events. I have raging ADHD, so I don't like keeping things going, but I like starting them. And an event is something
ADHD.
When it's done, and then the next one is a brand new thing, and that's enough to keep me excited. And I love doing lots of different stuff. I like to design. I like to do web stuff. I like to do social.
Yeah, you found your niche.
Yeah, it keeps me. So it's kind of like it's something that I am so incredibly grateful for the chance to do. And I do feel like it's something, it clicked. I can do it.
Well, and it's so exciting that you're still so excited about it after almost 2 decades. So much with this kind of thing, especially as it goes on and the way society has gone, where things have just keep crawling downhill. It's easy to just go, yes, I'm not doing this. You know what I mean? Like you're like, what, what's the point of this? But the fact that you're so good at it and it's so successful all the time, you get the, it's
the army of people that help me put it on that make it work. Like there's about 150 people who are part of the Crawling Tears. It's like a secret group on Facebook, and
I like that.
Almost 2 decades.
Wow.
Those folks have been dropping everything to help us, and it's their spirits, their joy. All of that is what sets the stage for people. Like when they come pick up their cup, these guys giving them their cup and being like jazzed for them.
So glad you're
excited.
coming. It's going to be great.
That sets the stage for everything. And
Are you able to divulge your next best idea?
Well, I hinted
at least
at
a little
one.
teaser.
I hinted at that one, and I can't say anything about the big one that I'm really excited about right now. I will do my best to when it's time to do it, I'll come on here.
Yeah.
I would gladly announce it on here.
Theme.
I think the one thing I can say is that whole idea of bringing back the niche ones, the smaller ones that we don't do anymore, as one venue parties that also have the drink specials, and they've got like the photo booth and everything.
What would be fun? Egypt. Like in Egypt.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be fun.
Cool. Yeah. But yeah,
and
we're
a Greek one, like the Greek gods, not a toga party, but where you dress up like Isis and Persephone and Hades.
Or what about a mummy crawl?
Oh, that
would be fun.
It's a fun costume too, because you can wrap
toilet paper.
Yourself.
Yeah. I love it. All right. So 60 seconds. Let everybody know everything you can in 60 seconds about crawlreno.com. Of course, how to get in touch with you, what's coming up, dates, stuff like that.
So the crawls, it's a guaranteed great night. All you got to do is it's a 3-step process. You buy a cup, dress up, and have fun. We try to make it as easy as possible for you to have the best night you've ever had.
Where can you get the cups?
Crawlreno.com. So we buy you basically everything is sold online now. It just makes it a lot smoother of an experience for everybody involved. So you just hop on there, you grab your cup right now, like the cups.
Your cup is basically your ticket.
Yep. They don't, exactly. And they don't become full price until the week of the event. So right now, grab your cup on discount, crawlreno.com. There's going to be, Santa Crawl, 40 bars, over 150 drink specials.
I was going to say, do the bars have specials?
So every bar has a $4 cocktail special and a $4 beer special. And now
that makes it worthwhile.
Every bar also has a non-alcoholic special.
Yes.
Every single bar.
Yeah.
For those who either, want to take a break in between places and they just want some other option, or for the folks who don't drink at all but want to come out for the party, because there's a lot of people who tell us, hey, I don't drink anymore, or I've never drank, but I love coming out to the crawls because of the party. I don't think that we focus. The focus isn't
drinking. It's not about drinking. It's just those are just venues.
As like tonight is a big old rager, and we're all gonna have fun.
Yeah, that's it.
So
it's fun stuff.
And then there's a whole bunch of other features and stuff you can always find on the website. But those are the things.
What's the date again, real quick, for the Santa
December
Crawl?
13th.
December 13th.
Yeah, we're 6 weeks away.
Love it.
Yowzes.
Love it. Well, heck. Thanks for coming in, Ed. This was fantastic. So, hey, guys, that's our Halloween special.
myths, legends, the boogeyman we invent online. So huge thanks to Ed Adkins. The Reno zombie crawl. I can't get my words right here. So I want you guys to hit crawlreno.com, join the undead party, and keep it fun, keep it safe. Hey, next week we pivot the pen. Episode 28, Kel, with What's the Matter with Authors. How to tell if you are one. We're going to talk habits, imposter syndrome, outlining versus discovered, and getting your story out of your head and onto the page. So thanks to World Matters Incorporated, Big Bongo Productions, Active Life Integrated Health, Skin Tuition, Soul is Better, and America Matters Media 93.7 FM. So until next time, stay spooky, stay smart. If you're wanting to escape the boogeyman on Halloween, remember you can always crawl. This is the G-Man and Kel, Ed Adkins. See ya!